there is a policy called the LMI, the Labor Market Impact Assessment, that was implemented last year, May. That is May 2023. It's a 2-year policy implemented to be able to clear the shortages in Canada. And when they brought this policy, the rule was wherever you are eligible and you are coming as a temporary foreign worker. But if you are able to move to Canada, you are still eligible to apply. And if you apply, you are not supposed to go home and apply for the work permit. You can stay in Canada and apply for that work permit. And this is what agents are riding on. This short piece of information is what agents are riding on to do people, to scam people. That let me do a visitor visa for you and go. When you go, you'll be able to change to a work permit without telling you the procedure, the steps, and everything. And that is why I'm here this morning to caution you that seek for information, seek for knowledge before you migrate to Canada, before you take a step, because it is not that easy. People who went to Canada within the 6 months were not able to meet the requirements of the LMIA, even to get the document to change to that work permit. And so what happened is either they seek for asylum or refugee, or probably they live illegal. And of late, I heard that they are deporting about 28,000 illegal migrants in Canada back to their home country. So if such thing happened to you, just know that your money is wasted, because everything that you give to the agent, they are not going to refund to you. Jonathan, I'll say I enjoy your program always. All right, let us proceed. So this morning I came here so that we can all digest into the whole procedure. Now I am coming to stream on the visa portal so that you get to know that whatever information that I'm giving to you is not here, but it's something that is written boldly on the Canada government visa portal, and that is the canada.ca. That is where we apply for visas to Canada. All right, so you can see on the screen, where is the screen? All right, you can see there, this is the Government of Canada portal, the canada.ca, immigration and citizenship. Now, I want you to take a close look at something here. They have the visa categories, right? They have the visit here, what you guys are fighting for. And they have the work here, and they have the study route, right? Now, we are concentrating on the work. If you click on the work route or the route, and you go to get a work permit, under the work permit, they have something we call the temporary workers, the agricultural workers, the caregivers, H-1B visa that most of you guys have been hearing of. That is for US. But if you have the H-1B visa in US, you are able to use it to migrate to Canada. It's part of their visa policy. They share Canada, Canada and US, they share borders, so they have things in common, right? So let's concentrate on the temporary foreign workers, because that is what most of you guys used to go. Now, under the temporary foreign workers, if you click apply for a work permit, right? Apply for a work permit. There are 2 types of work permit. And you see, you are supposed to even get this knowledge before you take a step. You want to go to Canada through the visit, get a work permit, but you don't even know the types of work permit. Now, the temporary, you see, when I was navigating, I went through the temporary form. And so the work permit that we're discussing here is the 2 temporary work permits. We have the permanent ones, that is the express entry, piloting program, and the provincial nominee programs. This is the temporary form. Now, with the temporary form, there are 2 types. We have the employer specific and the open work permit. I've heard some content creators saying closed work permit and open work permit. I was like, I don't want to bro for now. What is closed? Zip. So the right word is employer specific work permit, because you are going to work specifically for an employer, or you are going to work for a specific employer. All right. That is why the word is employer specific work permit. So for a specific employer. And the open work permit, you are going to work for any employer of your choice. You are not limited to one employer. So a critical example is people who come to the UK with their work visas, the care visa. They are assigned to one employer. And so when they come and the employer is not getting jobs for them, they become stranded. And what they are able to do is either they go and get another COS and switch. And that is where you hear people calling tips. I need switch. I'm not getting shift from my employer. Yes, because they are bound to that employer. And so if that employer is not able to give them switch, they cannot work for any other employer. They have to go and switch. If they can work for any employer, it will be a part-time job, but not a full-time job. And such visas is what Canada call the employer-specific work permit. They call it work permit. UK is a work visa. I'll be relating UK to Canada so that you can easily understand. People understand the concept of UK, but they have no idea about Canada. So I'll be relating them so that you can easily understand. Now, we have the open work permit. Open work permit is what the UK term as the dependent route. So if you are coming as a carer, or now carers cannot bring dependent except with NHS. But if you come in with any skilled work, like teaching job or anything to the UK, and you bring a dependent, you realize that your dependent get to the UK and is able to search for any employer of their choice. So their visas are open. And that is what Canada term as open work permit. Instead of them calling it a dependent visa, they call it the open work permit. You get you see, so it is, the concept is there. If you understand the concept of migration, you will never allow yourself to be scammed by any agent. So these are the two temporary work permit of Canada, the employer specific and the open work permit. Now, the open work permit is given to a spouse of somebody already in Canada. So it's either you have your husband in Canada schooling or your husband in Canada working. You have your wife in Canada schooling or your wife in Canada working, then you can migrate through the open. If you are coming to UK as a dependent, it's either you have somebody already having a work visa, coming to do the care job, coming to do a skilled work, before you can come as a dependent. As a dependent. Abra winni main applicant be UK here. It's the same thing for Canada. So the open work permit is only given to a spouse of somebody already in Canada, either through the school route, either the person doing masters. You can take your wife if you're going to school in Canada, do your masters, postgraduate. So your wife, your spouse, or your husband will be going through the open work permit. If you've gotten a job in Canada and you go in, you can take your wife and children alongside, and your spouse will go as open work permit. Now, you listening to me, if you have nobody in Canada schooling, if you have nobody in Canada working, and you want to get a work visa, yours is the employer-specific work permit. And that is what UK term as the skilled worker visa. All right. Now, let us concentrate on the employer-specific work permit and look at something over here. Now, the employer-specific work permit, you are going to work for a specific employer, and the visa will they'll give you the visa in accordance to the number of years, the contract. So if the employer says, come and work for me 3 years or 5 years, right? If the contract is a 3-year contract or 5-year contract, they are going to give the visa to you. It's the same as you, a UK. If UK give you a 3 years US, they give you a 3-year visa. If you get 5 years US, they give you a 5-year visa. That is the same concept for Canada. Now, look at something. Before you apply for employer-specific work permit, your employer must, 1, give you a copy of the contract, of which I've mentioned. Number 2, a copy of the LMI. What is LMI? We are going to concentrate over there. I want you to underline the word. They have even underlined for us. Labor Market Impact Assessment. That is the underlined word over there, right? The LMI. So you need a copy of the contract from the employer. You need a copy of the LMI. All right. Now, to get this, you need to get it from the employer. So your offer letter from the employer, right? An offer of employer number, that is for LMI exempt workers, right? There are some workers who don't go through the LMI route. I'll mention that later. But today we are focusing on the employer specific. And this is the two main documents, the contract and the LMI. Now, if you are listening to me on TikTok, you might be wondering where I am reading this. Is it from zionfelix.com or where? Or I can't say kodusheldon.com. No, I'm reading on the Government of Canada visa portal. That is where we apply for the visa. So I've entered the immigration and citizenship under the work visa, and we are reading the documents. And the government is saying that if you apply for a work permit, there are two types: the open work permit and the employer specific. Open work permit is given to people, spouse of people already in Canada. We don't have a wife, we don't have a husband in Canada. We want a job, an employer to sponsor us, and therefore we go for the employer specific. and the government is telling us that, then we need a contract and LMI. So what is LMI? As for contract, we know how to get it right. We have to go and search for jobs. The employer will give us a contract. But what about the LMI? Quickly, let's go through this. What is LMI? Still on the Government of Canada website. I am not going on Google. Still on the Government of Canada website. Let us look at the definition for LMI. So what is LMI? Labor Market Impact Assessment. Those on YouTube are really, really appreciating this live. LMI, Labor Market Impact Assessment, is a document an employer in Canada may need to hire a foreign worker. Who is a foreign worker? You are a foreigner, right? You are not from Canada. Now, the jobs in Canada, some are for the Canadians and some are for foreigners. So if the employer want to hire a Canadian, they don't need the LMI. But if they want to hire a foreigner, a foreign worker, then they need the LMI. Are you a Canadian? You that you watching me, are you a Canadian? No. So therefore, you need the LMI. A positive LMI will show that there is a need for a foreign worker to fill the job. You can say be a positive. If you go and check your blood status and they said HIV is positive, that means HIV are really be mebwa. A positive LMI. That means before say abani begia to say a juma way or the LMI are target, before the government will tag a job vacancy as LMI job, that means it's a positive LMI, and it will show that there is a need for you to come and fill the job. You are a foreigner, so there is a need. If they don't need you to come and fill the job, the government will not tag any job as LMI. So that is the meaning of that phrase over there. A positive LMI will show that there is a need for a foreign worker to fill the job. So if you go to search for jobs, depending on your website, I use the job bank because it is from the Government of Canada. People use Indeed, Monster, Jora, a lot of websites to search for jobs. But please, if they don't tag the job as LMI, that means they don't need you. And that is why I get people contacting me tips. I applied for jobs and they said they are asking me if I'm already in Canada. It is because the job wasn't tagged LMI, and so therefore the employer needed somebody already in Canada or needed a Canadian. If they needed you to come and fill the job, they would have tagged LMI approved. All right, let us look at the next sentence. It will also show that no Canadian worker or permanent resident is available to do the job. It will also show that no Canadian worker or permanent resident is available to do the job. Aban bi a ɔdwen ne man ɔdwen ne kuro ho no ɔdwen ne manfoɔ ho ansa na wamabi aso afoforɔ so. Before the Government of Canada will give an opportunity to you, a foreigner, they first consider Canadians first. So what the government is saying that this LMI policy is to hire foreign workers, but not for the foreign workers to come and take the jobs from our people. Before we give you the opportunity, we have to make sure that no Canadian or somebody living permanent in Canada is available to do the job. That means people who can qualify for the LMIA is, one, you shouldn't be a Canadian. Number two, you shouldn't be residing there permanently. And therefore, if you go with a visit, you qualify. If you are living in Ghana, Bahrain, Dubai, wherever you're listening to me from, right, you also qualify because you are not a Canadian. You don't have a permanent resident in Canada. Because if the job is for Canadian and permanent residents, it is not LMI, because the sentence is, it will also show that no Canadian or permanent resident is available to do the job. And therefore, anytime you hear of LMI, it means no Canadian is available, no permanent resident is available. It is for you people listening to me. A positive LMI is sometimes called a confirmation letter. All right. If the employer need LMI, they must apply for one. Now, the underlined words, there are two underlined phrases. The first underline is need LMI underlined, and the second one is they must apply for one. The government also underlined that word. Now, I'll go down later. I'll come in. Let us look at the underlined words over there. Once the employer gets LMI, the worker can apply for work permit. So you're listening to me here, and you want a work permit, right? You want to migrate to Canada using the visit route. Now, if you go there, before you can apply for a work permit, you have to get an employer who is ready to take the LMI for you, because the sentence there is, once the employer gets the LMI, you, the worker, can apply for the work permit. They didn't say that you, the worker, can apply for a work permit without the LMI. They said once the employer get the LMI, then you, the worker, you can apply for the work permit. Now, to apply for a work permit, a worker needs, who is a worker? You, listening to me. So before you can apply for a work permit, you need, number one, a job offer. How do you get a job offer? You are supposed to search for jobs. I've taught you job searching. Today, when I have more time, we go on the job bank and I will teach you how to search for the jobs. You have to search for jobs. And with job hunting or job searching, we have the documents that you can easily search for jobs. You have your resume. Canada call it resume. Other countries say CV, curriculum vitae. Your resume, well prepared. Your cover letter. Other people say application letter. Other people say supporting documents. UK NHS will say supporting documents. Other employers will say application letter, but Canada will say a cover letter. So these two documents, your resume, your cover letter, and if the employer need additional proof, such as your educational background, your certificate, they will write over there that I need somebody from a secondary level, and therefore you have to prove that I've completed. How do you prove? You have to give them a copy of your certificate. If it is a truck driving job, the employer can write, I need somebody with a driver's license. And therefore, you have to tell them, yes, I have a driver's license. Give them a copy to prove. So the two main documents for a job hunting is the resume and the cover letter. And additional ones will be stated on the portal. If you're applying, that employer will state, these are my requirements. And the requirements differ from each employer. If the employer, some job roles like, how do we call it? Care job. Apart from your secondary school, apart from your English proof, they will still require a care certificate, first aid, basic life support. All those certificates, they do request. If you are going to do plumbing, some of the plumbing jobs, depending on the employer, they can ask for plumbing trade certificate, ask for fire safety. So depending. So if you go there, the two main things that you need is your resume and your cover letter. The other supporting documents or the other documents will be stated on the portal. Now, apart from that, after your job hunting, if the employer wants to pick you, if they shortlist you, they are going to give you the job offer, and that becomes your first document, because they said to apply for a work permit, you need a job offer. So step number one, go and apply for the job and get the job offer. After that, you move to number two, a contract. What is a contract? Now, a contract is an agreement binding you and the employer. So after you get a job offer, the offer will come. You have to read through that you are coming to work for us in Canada. You'll be staying with us. We are not providing you accommodation. You have 28 days annual leave, sick leave with pay. You'll be paid 70 Canadian dollars per hour. You'll be working 40 hours a week with us. You are eligible to apply for how do we call it? Overtime jobs. Yes, I'm live on YouTube, and you can just come there and appreciate the visa portal. I'm reading from the visa portal. So the employer will give you the conditions of the jobs, everything in the offer. And so once you read everything and you are okay with them, you sign, you accept the offer, it becomes a contract. And therefore, they print the contract and send it to you. So you first need the offer letter, then the contract. You agreeing to the job offer, it becomes a contract, something that you have an agreement between you and the employer, it becomes a contract. And therefore, you have to get the contract also. Then a copy of the LMI. I told you that the LMI, if the employer need LMI, they must apply for one. So a copy of the LMI and the LMI number. The LMI number is found on the LMI. So these two, the last two documents, is just one. It's two in one. Once you get the LMI document, you can see the LMI number on it. All right. So how do the employer apply for one? Let me click on it and show you how the employer can apply for one. Now, this is to the employers, not to you, right? Because I clicked how they can apply for one. Now, to hire a foreign worker, the government is telling the employers in Canada that, look, you are recruiting people in Canada, you are recruiting Canadians, but we have shortage. We have the LMI. And so before you can pick a Ghanaian to come and work for you, before you can pick somebody who came with a visit, a conference, before you can hire them, this is what you should do. You have to determine which type of LMI that you first, right? you should submit to hire a temporary foreign worker. So the employers know, right? Some are through the agriculture route, some are through the care route, some are through the general temporary foreign worker route. I know into details, but you don't need that. The employers know that. All right. You can read in advance to also know. All right. So this is what the message that the government is telling the employers. We don't even need to read much into that. But if you are an employer, so these are the categories over there, right? So we have the global talent stream, the caregiver position, blah, blah, blah. These are for the employers. Before, like, if the employer want to apply for LMI, this is the link. They have to click on it. Now they apply online. So LMI online is reliable and secure. And the government is telling them that they should use it to submit. They should use the online portal, the LMI online application. They should use it to submit an application to hire a TFW, a temporary foreign worker. I told you already. How do they do that? So the employers are asking the government, how do we submit? Because I've gotten somebody in Ghana. I want to apply LMI for the person to come and work for me. How do I do that? You said online. Which online? And the government is telling them that a job bank account is required. Hallelujah. So the government is saying that a job bank account is required. The government is telling the employers that before they can apply for LMI, they need to create a job bank account. So who are you? Only why? Who are you to be going on Indeed and other people chasing for LMI jobs when the employers are on the job bank? You all read with me, right? All those people on YouTube, you read with me that it is written boldly over there that a job bank account is required. And that is why the government is telling the employers that LMI online, they should use the online portal to apply for LMI for you. They should submit an application to hire you, the temporary foreign worker, the TFW. A job bank account is required. So the government is telling the employers that they need to create a job bank account. And so you, the employee, you listening to me, if I ask you, come and learn how to create a job bank account, that is where the employers are. Those with LMI, those who will not scam you, they are on the job bank. You don't listen to me and you are following somebody on TikTok that they have vacancies. Are they on TikTok? What I need from you is to listen to the gospel truth. Listen to the truth. Listen to what the government is saying. Jebi neko, do it and go. But if you can choose to go to any employer, recruitment agency, whatever, pay money to them, they will still come on the job bank and hunt it for you. And they will still spend your money. All right. Now, because we know that the employers are on the job bank, let us rush on the job bank and see if we can get the employers over there. If the employers truly, they are there on the job bank. Now, this is the job bank, right? All these things, these links and everything, I have taught you. So today I'm not going into details. I'm just trying to show you something. I'm just trying to prove something to you. This is a Government of Canada the job application portal, right? The Government of Canada job bank. The first one was the Government of Canada, Canada.ca, the visa portal. And this is the job hunting, right? All right. When you come here, you can see that we have a sign in. That is where you have to create an account and be able to sign in. All right. If you try to sign in, you've seen what they've written. They said sign in as an employer or sign in as a job seeker. I don't know if you guys can see. So I tried to sign in and they're asking me, am I employer or I'm a job seeker? You see, so this should even click you as a critical thinker that people on job bank, it's not only people searching for jobs, employers are there, job seekers are there. So the government is asking you, are you signing in as somebody coming to search for job, or you are signing in as an employer coming to apply for LMI for your people? So you and the employers, you are all using job bank. You and your employers, you are all using job bank. At this point, if you're still not interested in job bank, I don't care. But there's no shortcut to Canada. If you go with a visit, you will still come back and search for the LMI, except you have money to go and marry somebody. If you go to Canada, you pay the money and go as a visitor, you will still go there and they will tell you that before you can change, you need LMI, and you will still come and watch my video. So I don't care. It's better you listen to it today. So I taught you how to create an account as a job seeker. This, I'm just showing you this to tell you that the employers also come here. Now, how do we know that the employers are here? The employers are here. One, we have three categories of employers. We have the first categories are employers looking for only Canadians. So not every job that you can apply on job bank. So sometimes as soon as you log in, the government will give you a caution, a warning. They will tell you that it looks like you are applying from outside Canada. You can't apply for every job. They didn't say you cannot apply for any job. They say every job. And they'll tell you that if you want to look for employers hiring the foreign workers, you have to use the page. And that is where we are going to do. We have to filter and search for jobs at them, because if the employers are 100, about 40 or 30 of them want people from outside, and they are the LMI employers. About 70 majority want people, Canadians. That is the gospel truth. So LMI hunting is not easy, but it is possible. If you have your documents, everything intact, and with perseverance, if you do it continuously without giving up, you are going to get it. So the employers are there. They are not many like those looking for Canadians. Those with LMI are few, but they are there. So if you want to filter, you have to know that the categories of employers are three. One, those looking for Canadians. Two, those looking for both Canadians and foreign workers. Now, this category, the middle one, those looking for Canadians and foreign workers, they are 50-50. They don't know what they are looking for. If a Canadian apply for the job, they will give it to the Canadian and leave you, because your process will take long. So such employers, I tell people, you can only apply to them if you have exhausted the third group of employers, that is the LMI employers, before you come to the second. As for the first one, those looking for the Canadians, don't attempt to apply to them. They will not pick you because they are looking for Canadians. So you can go the second way, or you can go the third way. The second group of employers are employers recruiting both Canadians and international candidates. And the third group are employers having the LMI or have applied for LMI. Now, those third group of employers, before they can apply for LMI, they have to prove to the government that no foreign worker no Canadian is available to do the job. You saw the caution that the government gave, that a positive LMI shows that no Canadian is available to do the job. So before the third group of employers, that is the LMI employers, before they can get LMI to you, they have to prove to the government that no Canadian is available. How do they prove to the government? Number one, because they apply for the LMI here, they come and advertise their jobs here. This is the trick. They don't advertise on Indeed. They don't advertise on the other portals. They want the LMI, but they have to prove to the government that no Canadian is available to do it. So they bring the vacancy here. They bring the vacancy here on Job Bank and advertise it. And when a vacancy is on Job Bank for 30 days, for 1 month, without nobody applying for that job, it means the Canadians are not interested, and therefore they can argue their case to give it to a foreign worker. That is the concept. So that employer that you're chasing, before they can get the LMI, they have their job vacancies on Job Bank, and they have advertised for more than 30 days. The Canadians didn't show interest, and therefore they proceeded to apply for the LMI. And they are the third categories of employers, and they are the best employees you should look for, because they have already wasted about 1 month on Job Bank without getting anybody. So they are frustrated, they are looking for you, and therefore they have proceeded to apply for the LMI. How do we know that this employer has applied for the LMI? It will be written there. The government will indicate that this employer has applied for LMI, and the government will be begging the Canadians to apply. Why is the government begging for the Canadians? Because the government know that the employer is frustrated, and that is why they need people from Ghana. And therefore, you see that the government will write there, this employer has applied for the LMI to hire foreigners. Please, Canadians, apply. Please, Canadians, apply. So today, we will be looking at it. I will show you. You will see that the government will be pleading to the Canadians to apply. This is telling you that that employer advertised for a period of time, no Canadian showed interest, and therefore they moved it from that Canadian to you people, right? They gave that opportunity. They took it from the Canadians to you people, and they target at LMI, the Labor Market Impact Assessment. At this point, I believe that you guys understand the concept of LMI, the concept of you getting a visa sponsorship jobs, and the concept of you able to get one and go. So the concept is gather your documents, the resume, the cover letter, go and create a job bank account and hunt for the LMI companies because already they have advertised for more than a month. Nobody listened to them and therefore they need you. Go and apply to those people. All right, let us proceed. I did a video about last 2 months showing you guys how you can search for LMI using the advanced search. All right. Last year, I did the normal search. Now, if you come to Job Bank, let's say you want a construction worker. Sorry, my mic went off. There are a lot of provinces and locations in Canada, but because you are not already in Canada, baby, I'll be all right, wherever you want to go, it's okay. So you don't have to enter anything at the location. All right, you don't have to enter anything at the location. You just have to leave that place and just click on the search. So, for instance, if I want to search for construction, I just search for it. I'd enter nothing here. Then I click search. I am going to get list of all construction jobs in Canada. And these companies will be the 3 categories. Futu fly. Ome futu omo nyina afra. 3 categories ni nyina. Omo Canadians ebe wom. Omo both international and Canadians will be in, and the LMI people. So I'll feel lazy to be able to shortlist the LMIs. I'll feel lazy to go through one after the other. And that is why I taught you the advanced search. So instead of you searching and going one after the other, what you're supposed to do is to click on the advanced. You can see the advanced over here. Just click on the advanced and use the advanced search method to do it. Good. So you can see a warning. This is the warning that I told you. When you turn on Job Bank, they ask you, because of the VPN that I'm using here, they have detected that I'm not in Canada, I'm in the UK. So they will say, it looks like you are visiting Job Bank from outside Canada. And it is true. I'm currently in the UK. What is the government telling us? If you are not legally authorized, if you say legally authorized, that means if you don't have a work visa, if you don't have a permanent resident, if you're not a Canadian, that means you're not legally authorized to work in Canada. You can't apply for every job. Bro, for no, I say you can't apply for every job. I can say you can't apply for any job. Or say you can't apply for every job. So what should we do? Or say most Canadian employers will not hire you if you don't have a valid visa or work permit. So what should we do? Or say visit job bank page. Visit the job bank page for foreign candidates. And we are not concentrating on the people who are employing Canadians. No, we don't even need them. We need the foreign candidate people who need we the foreign candidates. So they said visit job bank's page for foreign candidates to review your options and find jobs from employers who are recruiting outside Canada. I didn't write that. The government wrote that. So even the government of Canada know that there are employers who are recruiting outside Canada. You are outside Canada, and therefore there are employers who need you. And the government is aware. So the government is telling you that, hey, if you don't have a work visa, don't apply for those employers who need Canadians. Go and look for the employers who are recruiting outside Canada. They are the best for you. And where are they found? They are found on a page on Job Bank. And that is why I'm taking you through that page on Job Bank. So we are on the portal of Job Bank, but there is a page where you can look for only employers having or looking for people outside Canada. And that is when we can use the advanced search to enter that page. Sorry. All right. So this is the advanced search. So you click on the advanced search, it brings you here. All right. So you can see that you enter the job here, construction. I told you construction. All right. It load. After loading, the location is Canada. Because you are using the advanced search, they will just write Canada at the location for you. All right. So now they are saying that construction jobs, we have 11,213. Are we interested in all the 11,230? No, because the government gave us a warning that some of them need people having a work permit. We don't have a work permit. So we need those looking for us. So how do we look for those people? Now, there are some filters here that you're supposed to use to filter. At this point, if you're on YouTube, I pity you because you listening to me is an abstract way of learning. You need to come and see because another day you come and ask me that tips. I went on job bank and I couldn't do it because we are doing practicals here. This is not theory. We are doing it practically on the website, and people here, over 100 people, are doing it, watching it. And so, if you are here, those 200 people, if you don't join me on the YouTube, you can't. The reason why I'm not able to stream on TikTok is because of their policy. They said I shouldn't show an employer whose email address is there. I did that, they banned my account, and therefore I don't stream job bank on TikTok. And so at this point, you can come on YouTube, search tips and gist. The same way you were able to search tips and gist on TikTok and followed my page, is the same way you can do it and follow me on YouTube and learn better. All right. Now let us go down. If you go down, these are the ways you can filter. Now, there are a lot of these things that you see marked over here. Leave it because these are the construction, how do we call it? Categories. So we have construction, carpenters under construction. We have the painters, the plumbers, everything. So you just leave it. Just leave it. Because we didn't enter carpenter, but we entered broad construction. That is why it has ticked everything. So if you are looking for a painter or a carpenter, you would have entered carpenter or bricklayer or something, right? But we are looking for construction laborer. We want a laborer work. All right. So the employer name, we don't know any employer, so we skip that part. Now they ask you, do you want employers who just uploaded the job 48 hours ago, right? The last 48 hours, that is 2 days. And those employers, they are 475 employers. We don't need this. We don't need this. We don't need this. Even if the job is more than 30 days and people are not still applying, we have to apply. So they ask you, do you need employers who posted within the last 2 days, the last 30 days, or even more than 30 days? So don't select any, just leave it. You want all of them. Once there's LMI on it, you want it. All right. Now, if you look at here, they are asking employer conditions, employment condition. Do you want to work a job that you can work day or morning, evening, weekend, overtime, on call? Leave that part. Leave that part. If the employer will give you night, so far as you're going to Canada, you are okay. So don't go and select day or evening. Don't limit yourself. Leave that part. Now come to the provinces. The provinces, I will not advise you to select any province. Any province that land you LMI is good. Canada is Canada. Except probably you listening to me, you are already there on a visitor visa. Let's say you went to Alberta, and so you have to select Alberta because you are currently there, and probably you might focus on Alberta companies. But if you are in Ghana, Dubai, you've not gone to Canada, leave it. Leave it. All right. Leave it. Leave that part. Now the hours, they are asking you full-time or part-time. We need a full-time job because part-time will not give you LMIA. No employer will give you a visa sponsorship to come and do a part-time job. So we click on the full-time, then it will filter. You see that it has reduced to 10,606 instead of that 11,000. All right. So the number keeps reducing over there. Now let us look at the period of employment. Do we need a permanent job, a seasonal job, casual, term or contract? Now, all these, right? If so far as there's LMI on it, whether you give me permanent, whether it is a contract 2 years or 3 years, I'm okay. So far as there's LMI, you are coming to take me to Canada, I am okay with it. Now they ask us, do you need verified jobs? Yes, we need verified jobs. What are verified jobs? Verified jobs are jobs that the government has verified and know that these employers have no criminal, they are not going to scam you, right? So verified jobs. Yes, I need jobs that the government has verified so that if the employer contacts me, if there is any form of payment, I am not scared because the government has verified those companies. So I click verified. All right. Are you following? Please, right? You following? This video will be kept on YouTube. So anytime you can come here. So I click on verified. Now, let's go here. Educational or training. They are asking that, are you looking for jobs? Come employers who are looking for university graduates or college, secondary school, or no education. Leave that part, right? Leave that part. Except probably you are having only secondary school, then you can click secondary school. But you leave that part. If you go through and they are saying university, just leave that part. Salary, leave it. So they're asking you, are you looking for 20,000 to 39,000, 40,000? Leave that part. So far as you're going to Canada, leave that part. All right. Years of experience, 1 year, 2 years, leave that part, right? It is your resume that you have to update it. So if the employer is saying that they need somebody who has 1 year experience, what are you doing on your resume? Just do it 1 year experience. If they are saying that they need 3 years experience, what are you doing on your resume? I don't have to tell you what to do, right? So you don't have to filter that part. All right, let us go to the employment groups. Now, the employment groups is very, very important. They are asking, some employers are looking for the indigenous people. Indigenous people are already people from Canada, the Canadians. You are not part. Persons with disability. Somebody asked me a question on how do we call it? Somebody asked me a question on TikTok that he said he's using crutches. Can he apply for job bank? And I said yes. If you go there and the job role can permit somebody using crutches to work, then fine. Because if you are going to do a labor work to go and carry loads and you're using crutches, how can you do it? So it depends on the job role, right? So they are asking you that if you are with such, then there are about 774 employers looking for people with disability. Then you have to filter. Therefore, you are going to limit yourself to only 774 vacancies. But if you are not that, leave that part, except here, your focus is here, the temporary foreign worker, the TFW. You see, now why do you need a TFW? Because here, they never stated if the person is in Canada or Ghana, but the TFW just tell you that TFW is somebody outside Canada because a temporary foreign worker. Therefore, you are a foreigner and you're going to work temporary, the temporary foreign worker, the TFW. So I will select that. If you select that, you can see that the person with disability has reduced drastically to 149, 45. So if you are still having a disability, then you have to click that one also. But because you are not having a disability, you leave that part and click only here, the temporary foreign worker. All right. Now, if you are having a disability, you have to click that one also. All right. Note that. Now, the last one that we have to do is intended applicants. Intended applicants, out of the 1,039, there are still employers looking for Canadians only, and there are still employers looking for Canadians and international candidates. And therefore, you have to click the Canadians and international candidates. All right. Now, we click here, Canadians and international candidates, because we only need people looking for Canadians and international candidates, but we have still limited ourselves with the temporary foreign worker. So we don't care. So we click here, Canadians and international candidates, and therefore it's reduced to 423. So if you ask me tips, currently, month of May, how many companies are looking for construction workers? I will tell you that LMI result says 423 companies are currently recruiting people, LMI. And this is the trick. This is what these people on the internet who probably have learned it and known, and they'll come, hey, I have a lot of vacancies. I have a lot. Come. They are going to do the job hunting for you. They are going to prepare a resume, a cover letter, and do it for you and take you money. When I have taught you resume, I have taught you cover letter, and I have taught you how to search for it, and you can send it to them. If the employer pick you, fine. If they don't pick you, stay in Ghana. Because that agent that you're going to pay money to that agent, if you pay money to them and they don't get it, they're not going to give your money to you. They'll keep postponing you. Oh, the employers, I'm still waiting for their response. Or I'm still waiting. So no, one year. Why will be cashed? Because they don't know the employer in Canada. So they are only going to do a CV, a resume, and a cover letter and hunt it for you because you didn't know this. And I have come to review the secrets. Because I don't need you to come to me to tell me that tips. Apply for LMI for you. No, I don't have that time. So I have come here to tell you. But that agent on YouTube, that agent on TikTok, want to hide this from you because they want you to come to them. And that is why they have their telephone numbers, they have their email address written boldly on their portal. But I don't have such. I don't need you to come to me. I need you to do it and go there. And when I come live, you come. Tips. I did it a word. Yesterday night, I came on live and somebody said, Tips, I've been able to book UK visitor visa. I've gotten it. Thank you very much. And I was happy. I did UK visitor visa when I was in Sunderland. I was still a student, right? I did that. I gave you that knowledge when I was still a student last year. And somebody has used that knowledge to get a visa to UK without paying money to an agent. And I'm still happy. The God bless you alone is enough for me. Somebody yesterday said he applied for College of North Atlantic and got admission and is waiting for attestation letter. And I was happy because I brought it on this, taught you how to do the application. He watched it and he did. And now if he's able to get attestation letter, get his study permit, move to Canada. I've been able to help a single soul move to Canada through the school. Through the school. All right. Somebody is saying that there are so many job banks, so choose wisely. Exactly. And that is why I don't come on TikTok and say go to job bank, go to job bank. I encourage you to come on YouTube. So this video that you're watching, right? Just tap on the screen. If you tap on the screen on the video that you're watching, if you tap on the screen, you are going to see the title. The title is LMI Jobs Canada. Click on the title, and you're going to see the link to job bank. I have given it to you. I don't want you to go and search it on Google and go to a fake job bank account. So I have embedded the link. So just tap on the screen. The title of the live that you're watching will come. Tap on the title, and therefore the link to the job bank will be there. So anytime that you come and watch the video, if you want to go on job bank, you just do what I told you, right? Tap on the screen, tap on the title, and therefore the link is there. Click on the link, it takes you to job bank, and you practice whatever I told you. All right. So now we've gotten to know that there are 423 results. How do we contact the employers? The 423, how do we make application? So at this point, you just click view the 423 results. Click on it, view 423 results. So you click on it, and therefore, all the jobs over here, you see that even the navigation, there's something over here that search for jobs who want to recruit temporary foreign workers. All right. So everything, I can boldly say that using the advanced search, every job here is having, right? Every job here is having the LMI, because what is, look at the filters. So the filters that we use here has been written here. We first use a filter of construction because we needed construction jobs. We needed full-time jobs. We needed people hiring Canadian and international candidates. And that was not enough for us. We want foreign workers, temporary foreign workers. That is the LMI people. So anytime we hear TFW, it means LMI because we already learned LMI is needed to hire a TFW. So anytime you see TFW, that is LMI. All right. Okay. And we also needed verified jobs that we know that we will not get scammed. So with this filters, the five filters that I've used, I can boldly say that this 423 results is very safe for you. And therefore, if you apply and you don't get it, it means you are not lucky. And let me tell you this, on Job Bank, every month, a different company will come. So if you search for this 400 and none of them call you, next month, do it continuously. Because if you rush and still use the visitor visa to Canada, you will still come and do it. And that time you are limited to 6 months. And if you don't get it within that 6 months, you become illegal. So why don't you sit at your home, your comfort zone, and do it every month? Try and submit. If you do 30 applications a day, at the end of the 10 days, you have 300 applications done. Even 30 is too much. Do 10 applications a day. Canada application is the easiest. If you have your CV, your resume written down, if you have your cover letter and your documents, everything PDF, what you're supposed to do is to come here, create an account, use the filter, you have your 400 results, pick their email address, you go to your email, type, just like as you send me email tips, I need a CV, the same thing. So you type there, you just type their email address over there, then the caption will be application for a construction something. They say, hello employer. If you go and watch the video, how you can apply for the jobs, I taught you even how you can even talk to the employer. I gave you the words that you write to the employer. The hello employer, I saw your job listed on Job Bank with the Job Bank ID, hashtag, blah, 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 blah. I am currently in Ghana, and per the requirements written on Job Bank, I think I'm the best candidate for this job. Find attached my resume, my cover letter, and all other supporting documents. And that is that. If they read the application letter or the cover letter, they are going to know that you need a visa sponsorship. And in fact, they know that they have the LMI. And once your address states that you're not in Canada, they know it. The employer is not dumb. They know that they have to give you the LMI. So you can write this in your cover letter that you're looking for visa sponsorship, or leave it. If the employer want to pick you, they know that you are in Ghana and they know the procedure. They'll give it to you. All right. So you can do 10 applications a day. Just copy their email address on the job bank. Go to your email, send your CV, your resume, cover letter, and other documents to them. You do it like 10 times to 10 different employers. If you are feeling sleepy, sleep. You cannot travel within one day. If you are tired, sleep. The next day, you do it. That is why people who contact me, tips, I want CV. I tell you, hey, take your time. If I can do CV for one person a day, it's one person a day. Not because of the money that I'm coming to do for 10 people a day. No, because I know that this is your life. So if I do it for one person, 2.5 hours, I sit on my laptop, I design the CV and cover letter for one person, I am done. If I'm tired, I sleep. So that is how you should also do. If you apply for a job and you think you are tired, sleep. Somebody said, I am in Italy. Is it the same process? Yes. For everybody, whether you UK, Ghana, Dubai, once you are outside Canada, is Italy, Canada? No. So you all the same process. You are all outside Canada. You are all foreigners to Canadians. You are going to work temporary because this is not express entry. So you are a TFW, a temporary foreign worker. That is the meaning. So everybody, the same procedure. You need your resume, your cover letter, apply. Your resume, your cover letter, apply. If the employer is requesting for other supporting documents, like your university certificates, your driver's license, it will be written there on the job bank, and therefore you give it to them during the application stage. Everybody, please, you guys should start something. Start something. The employers will be writing back to you. Sometimes you send them, they don't respond. Yes, it is so. That happened. I have experienced some before. Even when I came to UK as an international student, when I was hunting jobs, I got a lot of unfortunate. But currently, I am working, and in fact, I am even tired of working. I get overtime and overtime. So at this stage, it is really, really difficult at the start. When you start applying for jobs, you get unfortunate. Sometimes they don't even contact you at all. They don't even write to you. But if you give up, it means you are a loser. You are supposed to do it and do it and do it until you start getting these LMI people who will look at you and say, hey, I want to recruit you. Let's do interview. They give you the LMI. And that's all. You go to Canada. But if you think that because of this life that I've done, this evening you're going to apply for 3 companies and tomorrow you hear from them, it doesn't work that way. It can take you like 3 months hunting for job before you get a positive reply. It can take you 2 months. Somebody is lucky, it can take you 1 month. Somebody, you are lucky, you can get a response that same day that you did application. So please, don't give up. And that is why I don't understand people coming to me to pay money that I should search for jobs for them. You paying me money, I should search for jobs for you. Now, I ask you this question. If I apply this month and they don't call you, next month, are you going to pay me again? Because that money that you paid for me was for me to sit down this month. Next month, I have to sit down again. Are you going to pay me? That is why it makes no sense. You coming to me. Because if not, you have to pay me and 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 pay me until I get the employer for you. Because that money you gave to me cannot pay me for the rest of my life. And that is why I have to teach you and do it yourself. But something like a CV, a cover letter, I am doing it. And so if you pay me, I know I have to give it to you. And that is why I only accept somebody coming to me for a CV and a cover letter. But I don't accept people coming to me to do jobs. I would have made millions. I would have gotten money. Look at my platform. I have over closer to 50,000 people on YouTube, closer to 500,000 people on TikTok. I could have made millions, but no, it doesn't make sense. Because if they pay the money to you and you handle the jobs, job hunting is only to the employers. They can choose to call the people that you're applying for them or can choose not to. I think I forgot something, right? You guys are waiting for me to show you. All right, so let's say this is the first company, the construction helper. If you want to apply for this job, the construction helper, just click on it. This is the company, right? Dream Heights Enterprise. All right. And they are saying that they are paying you 26 Canadian dollars per hour, 1 hour, 26 Canadian dollars. All right. 26 Canadian dollars. Now, look at what they want. They said language, English. Therefore, you need English proficiency, what I told you. So either you use your WASI, your IELTS, English proficiency letter, you write the TOEFL, one of them. So if you go as a visitor and you miss a situation like this, how do you prove English? Because it is written boldly over there that English. And that is why this morning I told you guys that don't listen to those people on TikTok trying to tell you that if you use the visit, you go automatically get it. No. The LMI, you see, somebody was even asking, how do you know that the LMI is written there? It is written. The government says this employer has applied for the LMI, the Labor Market Impact Assessment, to hire who? A foreign worker to fill the labor shortage. There's shortage over there. And that is why the employer has applied for the LMI to give it to you. And look at what the government is saying. You see that they've written something bold. The government is pleading to Canadians. So they said Canadians and permanent residents are able and encouraged. The word here is encouraged. So the first one is the employer has proceeded because the employer advertised this job. Canadians didn't show interest. And therefore, after 30 days, it means the employer has enough proof to tell the government that, look, I posted my job on the job bank. No Canadians showed interest. And therefore, I need LMI to go and bring somebody from Ghana. And so the government has understood and said this employer has applied for LMI to hire a foreign worker to fill the shortages. But I am pleading to Canadians and you people that you are still encouraged to apply. And that is why the government has boldened that part. So if I tell the concept of LMI, if you understand this concept, you are bold enough that once you are searching for LMI, it is for you and not for Canadians, because the government is even encouraging them to apply. They are not doing the application. They don't want to do it. So the government is encouraging them. And look at the requirement of the employer. The employer says, look, I need no degree. If you didn't go to school, I don't need any certificate. I don't need any diploma. That is why they said no degree, certificate, or diploma. So I don't need anything. All I need is you proving that you understand English, because the work permit, you need to put English on it. Your documents, proof of English, either your WASI, your IELTS, your TOEFL, your English proficiency letter. So see, if you're somebody that you are good in construction, you have experience, and you never go to school, just go and write IELTS and bring it as English proof, because I don't need your degree or certificate. You are just coming to work as a construction laborer. Experience, I need somebody who has worked like 1 year, 1 to 7 months, right? So anything. So if you do a resume and you state that you've done construction work like 1 year, you even overqualify. Work site, you're going to work outdoors at height. You're going to climb. You can do dangerous jobs, dusty jobs, right? So if you're cool and construction work, you know all these, that it is dangerous, it is dusty, right? Responsibilities. That is what the employer has listed over there. And when I was teaching you the resume, I told you that you have to note some of the responsibilities of the job and feature it on your resume so that the employer can know, oh, okay, this person, I want to come, the person to come and do this, that, and that. And on the resume, the person said he knows how to do this. So it means you qualify. Additional information, and it's just like skills, or how do we call it, strength. So somebody who can handle heavy loads, fast-paced environment, physically demanding, tight deadlines, manual, everything. Everything. Okay. So at this point, if you want to apply, if you scroll down there, there is something there. So show how to apply. You click on it and you're going to get the email address of the employer. So this is the email address of the employer. So you just copy it. Then you go and send the employer a message. I've taught you this, so I'm not going down here. All right. So this is how we learn. You people, you don't want the truth. The other kind of cray, hey, obviously me brag it. Me buy a na me say mombra. Me chere na me say, oh, I need all of you to come. It is £100. Obiambra, I will apply for the job for you. Come on, comment. Aha, crom for musikaji. Me so say me pay usika. Because I work here, my employer is paying me. O say me brag it. Isi mo yanya mo day. Kosi en kosi koda en koda. Me pay usika. Me si shiade ne mame. Learn it and know how to do it because my employers are paying me. O say me brag it. Make us say, oh, branso na minju sika na menya man so abeka tips and just oji usika oji. Mo ya be for papa. And that's quite you say tips the agents are learning from you. I name the end there. Yeah, they might if they are learning, they are learning. And one thing is, if the education go viral, if people are really awakened, if they come and learn, crowd because then they'll be at school. Obia AAB. Obia AAB. Now, at this point, one go school cry. If you have no skills, no certificate to prove your English, because jobs like construction, they don't like said employer and kind, they will not consider, they don't like your certificates. Fine, but their English is what they need. So if you didn't go to school, that English side will be very difficult, except probably you have how do we call it, the IELTS. So if you didn't go to school, I will encourage you that if you can write the IELTS, fine. But if you didn't go to school, you cannot write the IELTS, and you have the experience. What I will tell you is, you need something like the open work permit. And how do you get the open work permit? I told you that your spouse, either your wife, your husband, is already in Canada. And so how do you do that? You don't have a wife in Canada, right? Okay. So what you're supposed to do is, if you have a family member or a friend going to Canada through school or through this work, you guys can marry and you become the husband, you become the spouse. And therefore, if they go, they can pick you and go. And if you go to Canada, you have a visa, open work permit. And so you can use it to work for any employer. And therefore, if you go there, the open work permit, you don't need English requirement. You don't need English requirement. Just that you can't do any, not all jobs that you can do, right? There are some jobs that they don't care if you understand English or not. So you can go and do those jobs. All right. So at this point, I think you guys really understand how the LMI concept, the documents to apply for the jobs, and after you get the LMI, the work visa, right, the work permit to the documents and everything. So please don't be deceived. If at this point you're still working towards your conference, your visit, you are good to go. But please be prepared that you have limited time, and the limited time is 6 months. If you go there, you have 6 months to go through all these process. So if you think you cannot use 6 months to go through all these process, then it will be very difficult for you when you go there, because you'll be going to limited to going to look for somebody to marry to sustain your validity, or no, this is legality. Yeah, legality to sustain your legality, or probably to go and seek for asylum or refugee, of which I don't think any of you guys want to go into such a situation. I wish you all the best. This video will be stored on YouTube any day, anytime. You can come here and watch it to refresh your mind. The link to Job Bank is embedded right there. Once you tap on the title of this live, you are going to get the link. You go there, you rehearse to filter. All right. If you're using a mobile phone, the display will be quite different from my laptop. And I think if you are having challenges, you can comment that you having challenges to filter, and I can do a mobile version and post it on TikTok for you guys how to filter. Right. I can do a mobile version to show you guys on TikTok. So you have to, your comments will tell me if you were able to do it or not. I wish you all the best in life, and I wish you a good day. Bye bye.